I'm Steven from montyarei. So today we are in Brooklyn with Joey L taking pictures, and today I didn't think we could get any better looking than we are, but he has made us look we're more beautiful than Celine Dion, I would say, collectively, which is really good. I mean, it's really hard to do that with us.
Dueling video. Yeah, this is dual angle. Hey there, man.
This is a vlog. This is a vlog.
Yeah.
It's official. Really good makers.
What do you have to say?
I have to say that this experience so far has been incredible.
We've done nothing yet, though.
We haven't taken one picture yet.
I haven't taken one picture, but I feel good.
For this shoot, there was no clear visual concepts given. The photo shoot was just to produce good-looking content, good-looking pictures of the band for promotion and CD packaging. So because of that, it was up to me to make the lighting as interesting as possible so that it could be used in a variety of different ways. The first one in this setup here was just using a big ring light to shoot everybody individually and then combine their heads together later. So I was actually waiting to use this big ring light. I've had it for a long time, and I use it on a few small things, but never for music. And it was really hard to find something like this. Usually ring lights are pretty small and just mount over your lens, but something this big is pretty rare, and a lot of people ask me where I got it from. I had to get this all the way from this website in Germany, and they actually wouldn't ship to North America, so I had to get them to ship it to a friend of mine that lives in Germany, and then they had to ship it to me. This is the website here, and at the time of recording they still don't ship to North America, but hopefully they'll change that soon, because I hope I can give them a lot of business because it's a really good product. So like I said, usually I hate ring lights, but because this one is so big, it can be placed right up close to the face, and you can get a very nice even light that is characteristic of a ring light, but it's not flat. It's really deep just because of its large size, as well as you can shoot through this big ring, and it just puts a really big circular catch light in the eye. So this particular light is a constant light, meaning it doesn't flash. So you're able to see a preview of how the light will look in the eye at all times. And usually the people I shoot get really excited right away because it makes their skin look smooth, puts a beautiful circle reflection in their eye, but most of all they can see it in real time. They don't have to look at the photos after to see how it's going to look.
Turn the shoulder a little more. We're going to slowly move more profile.
So the light constantly pumps out 65 watts of light. So I expose my camera for this, give or take at 1/125th of a second. My aperture is 3.5, and I used an ISO of 400 just so I get that fast shutter, just to avoid camera shake. And that's mostly just because I hate using tripods. And all the portrait shots were taken with an 85mm lens on my Canon 1DS Mark III. So I added 2 Profoto lights from behind on each side of the seamless background, so it's hitting both sides of the back of the head. And on the heads, I just have the standard Profoto reflector with a 25-degree grid spot inside. So that grid spot is just to focus the light so it only hits the subject and not on the seamless background. I also put a CTO color temperature orange warming gel on the backlights. This wasn't to do any color correction or anything fancy like that. It's just basically to make that backlight warm on purpose, so it just looks cool, just so it looks interesting. So I just kept the constant ring light on, and I used the Pocket Wizard to trigger the other 2 flashes when I was shooting. I also like just to point out that the other lights that you see in the video were not used in this particular setup. The reason why they're there is because before the shoot, before the band came, I pre-lit everything just so we could switch between the setups really fast to save time.
So yeah, Brooklyn Studios, killing it, and montyarei is making us not look dumb, because we usually look dumb, and he's making us look good.
So this next setup is actually pretty simple, but it required a lot of fine-tuning. So really I think it's only fine-tuning and attention to small details that can separate an amateur-looking light setup to a pro setup. I can spend hours tweaking things that don't really seem to matter, but in the end it just takes a picture from an 8 to a 10. So we needed just a plain group shot of everybody against a seamless background, because later I'm going to Photoshop in a sunset sky. So everybody is lit from one main giant light, which is a 74-inch octabank from Elechrome. So because the light source is so big, I was able to feather everyone evenly and point the center of the octabank not on anybody at all, but in front of the band. The center of the octabank isn't hitting the band directly, they're just getting that nice edge feather light. As you look down the row of guys in the original shot, you can see the way the light has hit their face hasn't really changed much from left to right. If the center of the source were pointing directly at them, or if it was positioned closer, you would see more variation. So that looked good, but I wanted the side of their face away from the light a little bit darker. So when you use a large light source like this, it's hard enough to get some shadows, but it can also be a pain because everything was bouncing around the white walls in the studio. So to suck some of the light away from the side of the face opposite the light, we placed a big blackboard camera left. Not only will this stop the light from bouncing, but it'll actually act as something called negative fill. A fill board and a fill card or reflector is usually placed on the opposite side of the face just to reflect a little bit of the light back onto the dark side of the face, but in this I actually wanted to do the opposite. I wanted the side of the face away from the light even darker. Think of this board as like a black hole just sucking away all light, creating an even darker result. So I knew that it would be me doing the Photoshop on this picture, so I wanted to make everything technically as perfect on the shoot to save time retouching later. It's really important to know exactly what you're going to do later so that you can plan out the light accordingly. So I'll go over the actual Photoshop in another lesson on this disc, but just let me talk about the light. I wanted to Photoshop a sunset in behind them. So what do I know about sunset light? Is that it's really warm and really yellow. So to replicate this and to help tie this studio shot in with the picture that I'm going to add in the background later, I added some CTO Warming Gel on the back lights to make it basically look like sunset. And I also know that usually when you add a fake background, the thing that makes it look fake is it doesn't really blend in with the light around it. I know that skies, normal skies, especially at sunset, usually have a gradient in their tones. They're usually not the same color all over, and they usually fade from dark to light. So knowing the Photoshop techniques that I will teach you later and apply later, I do all I can at the shoot. I'm purposely not going to light the seamless gray background evenly, but instead I'm going to make a circular gradient on it behind the band using another light. I did this with a beauty dish carefully placed behind the blackboard's camera left. So those boards are blocking the beauty dish as well as sucking away light from the main octabank. So really any light source would have worked for this, but the beauty dish was available, it was there, and it also creates a really nice circle with feathered edges. So I pointed that at the seamless background behind the band, centered in my composition of the photo with the 5 members.
We are releasing a record this fall called Break Through the Silence on Island Records. We're really stoked, and this photo shoot is partly for that. And we've been working on this album for 2 years, and so hopefully people will be excited about it. We're really stoked about it, and this is a big passion of ours, so we're looking forward to releasing our passion out into the wild open and for you guys to soak it in and eat it up. So hopefully we'll see you guys on tour next year. Thank you. Love you.